We have been discussing to learn filmmaking, what are the things you should know before you actually learn filmmaking. Okay, now, whatever you had discussed, you learned it, you internalized it. Now, the question is, it's not just me. Any great filmmaker or any great teacher in the world might teach you. But still, however you observe the teachings or however you take the inputs, it's not going to make you 100% filmmaker, or it might not make you a filmmaker directly. What you have to do is something beyond that. What is that? See, whatever the teachers say to you will take you to the threshold of the world of cinema. You know, the world of cinema is a very magical world. It's a beautiful world. It's a full of, what do I say, very enchanting world. For that to feel and realize that, you have to enter into that world. All these teachings can take you to the threshold of that world. It will not, or they will not help you to enter the world. They will leave you at the threshold. Then it's your responsibility, it's your duty, it's your effort to enter into that magical world. Until you enter the magical world, you really will not feel the magic of this film world, which is what going to finally help you to understand the film on filmmaking. Okay, now, we all going to leave you at the threshold of the magical world of cinema. What you have to do to enter this magical world of cinema, or just to cross the threshold, these are the things. All you have to do it yourself. No one is going to help you on that. The first thing you should do is you have to watch lots of movies. Hey, I have been watching movies every day. I am not talking just watching movies, a kind of a planned watching of movies. Watching right movies is what I mean when I say watching movies. Like, if you want to be a singer, or if you want to be a musician playing a particular instrument, of course you have to practice, you have to have all the knowledge of the swaras, notes, everything, but every day you have to practice. Not only practice, you have to listen to others singing, others playing the music. That's going to really help you a lot, but you should very carefully choose what to listen. Similarly, to learn filmmaking, you have to watch many movies. Many movies, I mean the movies made by great masters. There are, in the 123 years old cinema, there are old masters, in the middle time masters, new masters. You should know who are these old masters, who are these middle time masters, who are the new masters. Then only you will know what are the films of these masters you should watch. In the last 123 years, these are the masters who developed cinema, who developed the language of cinema, who developed the aesthetics of cinema, who developed the world of cinema to whatever it is today. That's why you have to watch these films. For that, for example, if you take from India, who are the old masters? There are many, starting from Satyajit Ray, Varnal Sen, Ritvik Ghatak, Gurudutt, many are there. If you come to the south of India, there are other masters like Adur Gopalakrishnan, Arabindan. Of course, why I am not saying anyone from the other parts of that. There are many. I am not repeating. If I have not said particular name, I do not mean that there are no other masters. These are the masters well known. You have to really go study about it, Google out and find these masters and know that what are the important films and watch them. India, if you go, just move away. If you go to US, there are many masters, John Ford, William Wyler. If you take the new masters, people like Jim Jarmusch, there are many independent filmmakers. who are not very popular. You have to find them all about. You have to watch all those films. If you go to Japan, like Satyajit Roy, there are filmmakers like Akira Kurosawa, Ozu, Misoguchi, Naruse, many. If you go to Italy, many are there. Antonioni, Fellini, Rossellini, many. Luciano Visconti, many are there. If you go to France, my God, France is a country that produced the middle masters, in the sense the 60s brought new air into the cinema, the language of cinema, the new wave, French new wave, all starting with François Truffaut, Jean-Luc Godard, Eric Romer, Jacques Rivette, Claude Chabrol, many are there. Any country, if you done the East European country, in fact, this I really should talk about it, because the present generation do not know anything about the cinema of Eastern Europe. What is Eastern Europe in the first place? That itself many do not know at all. Because now the Eastern Europe is gone. Now it's only one Europe, but that it becomes a part of the Europe. But when it was Eastern Europe, because of certain social, political conditions, it produced certain kind of cinema which really still so powerful. Still it is a source to learn so much from. For example, the countries like Poland, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, then Romania, Bulgaria, all these are all part of the Eastern Europe. This Eastern Europe produced many great, because Eastern Europe had great film schools in the tradition of the Russian film school, like the VIGK, All Russian Film School, that produced masters like Eisenstein, Pudovkin, Zygawato. In fact, Eisenstein himself was the director of that film school for over 10 years. During his tenure at the film school, he has written very important books in cinema. The most important books, the film form, film sense. These are the first books explaining the theoretical aspect of the art of cinema and the philosophy of cinema, everything. Even today, these two books are film form and film sense, very important books to learn the basics, the structure of cinema, how the visual structure works. He was such a great theoretician. And other filmmakers like, because of this tradition, every East European country opened film school. Still those film schools are very famous in those countries. In Czechoslovakia is a Poma. In Poland it's a Ud school. Then comes a great country, Hungary. Hungary produced absolute masters, starting from Zoltán Fabry, István Zabel, István Gal, Miklos Janso. My God, you must see at least one or two films of each of these filmmakers to understand why I really rave about these people. Then comes Poland, yet another important East European country that produced absolute masters, because they were all one way or other associated with the Uds Film School, starting from Andrzej Wajda, Roman Polanski, Krzysztof Kieślowski, many of them are there. At least Krzysztof Kieślowski, many of your generation might have heard because of his very famous films like Decalogue and Three Colors. If you have not watched Decalogue or Three Colors, please, you hardly know anything about cinema in a way. I remember recently one of our great Indian filmmaker, the modern filmmaker, the contemporary filmmaker, when I met him a few months back, Ansel Mehta, who made films like Shahid, Aligarh, recent mainstream film like Simran, he told me, I am filmmaker today because I watched Kieślowski's Three Colors. Like that, this East European cinema brought many youngsters, many people to love cinema. Quite a few of them became filmmakers later. So you have to watch all these films, not only the East Europe, there are other countries, the Latin America, that is South America. South America, the Spanish cinema, Spain, wonderful filmmakers are there. Cuba, again, wonderful filmmakers are there. Iran, of course, Iran is a very contemporary thing. I think that it starts from late 70s or early 80s. There are many filmmakers. One filmmaker I would like to recommend you to watch, not to miss, is Abbas Kiarostami. Abbas Kiarostami is a different kind of Iranian filmmakers. Of course, there are very popular filmmakers like Majidi, whose recent film Beyond the Clouds I happened to see in the recently concluded Goa Film Festival. My God, it's a wonderful piece. Very, very different from what he has done before. But Abbas Kiarostami is one filmmaker you should not miss at all, especially his last two films. His last two films called The Certified Copy and Like Someone in Love. Both the films are, for me personally, push the boundaries of cinema. It pushed the boundaries of cinema so much. We need to wait for some time, someone else to push beyond that. Wonderful, these two films. Again, I tell the name, Like Someone in Love and The Certified Copy. Don't miss them.